Hey everybody, we'll be starting in a minute. All the panels are already in. Hey, it's 2 o'clock. Let's start. Thank you for all the shout out, and I can see a lot of people are coming in live. Let me do a bit of introduction about myself. My name is Alex. Some of you might know me. I'm a businessman and an entrepreneur having 3 businesses. And being in business now is truly the most challenging time. I'm also a qualified accountant, and I co-founded InTune with my beautiful wife here, Lily, and we are focusing on finance and HR outsourcing services for the SME. I'll be your main moderator for today. Let me introduce some of our panel for today. Of course, I'll start with my beautiful wife, Lily Yong. Let her have a few minutes to talk about herself.
I'm Lily, chartered accountant. I've been an accountant for the last 20 over years. That reveals my age. Okay, so in this difficult period, what we look forward to is actually supporting our clients to tie this through in the next 6 months to 1 year. Thank you.
Okay, next will be Jocelyn, our Senior Manager Operations of InTune.
Hi, yeah, I've been with InTune for about 6 years now. So managing the operations here, collaborating with clients on accounts and payroll and yeah.
Okay, next will be our Mr. Li Fong. Hi, Li Fong.
Hi, my name is Li Fong. I'm an audit partner in 𝗂𝘂𝗲𝗃𝗲 Associates. We run an audit, tax, and company secretarial arm. We've been working for InTune for the past 1 or 2 years. I've been in this industry about 13 years now. So looking forward to help SME to overcome these challenging times.
Wow, all great panelists are on board. And last but not least, my favorite business coach, Julius.
Hi guys, my name is Julius. I was a business coach with Action Coach, but now I run my own company. I'm the director of training and development with 𝗍𝗃𝗀𝗁𝗃 Consulting. So what we do is we train and build leaders.
Thank you, everybody. It's going to be an exciting next 30 minutes. COVID-19 is really a force majeure, unplanned for and unwanted, and it has been hitting across all countries, all industry, all business, and all people. Now, according to the Department of Statistics of Malaysia, the SME sector alone contributes to 38.3% of our GDP, and that is a whopping 500 million to Malaysian GDP just in financial year 2018 alone. And 82% of that GDP comes from the services and manufacturing SME sectors. And 2 days ago, our SME Association Chairman, 𝗍𝒊𝒗𝒆, just said that SME Association predicted that 50% of SME are suffering and probably will have to close down, and 4 million of employees will probably be unemployed as a result of this crisis. Now, without further delay, let's talk about what is provided in the stimulus package recently announced and what you as business owner can do. And at the end of this live feed, we hope that we can give you some actionable plan on how you can plan to sustain yourself through these tough years of 2020. I'll start with Lily. Lily, regarding the loan deferment moratorium that has been offered by the stimulus package, what do you have to say about that?
Okay. I think what I'm going to say is that direct to the business owners, SMEs, to take it up or not. Okay, to further dwell into that, so I will divide that into 2 categories. Number 1, your car loan. Number 2, your term loan or your mortgages. So for your car loan, yes, take it up is a no-brainer. So in this 6 months that you are not paying your installments, there is no additional interest charge. So your interest over the entire period of your car loan remains the same. It doesn't cost you anything. So after the 6 months, you continue to pay the same amount of installment. It's just that if your car loan was to repay in 5 years, now you will fully repay your car loan in 5.5 years. So my recommendation to you is take up the moratorium or the 6 months deferment. As for mortgages and term loan, it is slightly different, and you need to consider this. So in these 6 months that you are not paying your loan installments, interest continue to be charged. So meaning If you want to pay it later, it comes with a price. So if you have the money and you don't want to pay the interest during these 6 months, go ahead, continue your installment by informing your bank. But if your cash flow is tight, you need a 6-month breather, pick up the deferment and pay some interest. So there is this part on compounding interest that many banks have offered not to charge. So what does it mean? So compounding interest means interest on interest. So in this 6 months period, they will charge you the normal interest without charging you the interest on interest. So this is very different from hire purchase. Yeah. So interest will continue to be charged on the balance outstanding, and the balance outstanding comprise your principal and interest as of 1st of April for the next 6 months. So over the entire tenure of your loan, you are actually paying more interest. So some of the benefits of taking out this 6 months deferment is you can have a cash flow breather. There's no penalty. It doesn't affect your CQuiz. But as for term loan and mortgages, so you need to consider whether it is expensive for you to do so. If you don't have the money, don't pay first. If you have the money and you don't want to pay the additional interest, continue your installment. So how does this work? So by yesterday, most of you would have received an SMS from your bank informing that your loan has automatically been deferred for 6 months. If you want to opt out, then you reply to them. So there is nothing that you need to do. You don't need to apply. If you have a Maybank loan and it is auto debit from your Maybank current account, you don't even have to stop the auto debit. The bank will do it for you. But if you have a Maybank loan and you are actually auto debiting, say from CIMB bank account, you need to go to your CIMB bank account and stop the standing instruction. That's all. Okay.
So sounds for hire purchase, it sounds very simple. Just take advantage of it. When it comes to your loan, take note of the possible compounding interest, and our advice is to check with the bank. Now for InTune client, we will automatically support our client by helping them to talk to the bank and ensuring where do they stand in terms of compounding interest. Okay, next, Jocelyn, on employment contribution, EPF or HRDF. Can you tell us a bit what is this about and what impact it could have for SME?
Okay, I will talk about EPF first. In the first stimulus package announced in February this year, the minimum EPF contribution by employees is to be reduced from 11% to 7% from April 1st to December 31st. This will potentially provide more cash for private consumption, meaning more spending power for the consumers, and in return could benefit some SMEs. Of course, Malaysian employees can still choose not to follow the scheme and maintain their contribution rate. Then, in the recently announced second stimulus package, a program called Employers Negotiation Service was introduced that will allow employers to postpone, restructure, or reschedule the EPF contribution for employees. Please note it is not an exemption, means you still have to pay but could be lesser or later. There are no further details yet. So for SMEs, we think this is insufficient. It is just delaying the entire impact. An exemption would mean a direct 13% cost savings to SMEs. So EPF will launch this on April 15, and this will provide a temporary cash flow breather for employers and maybe benefit over 480,000 SMEs and other businesses. So by freeing up some cash flow, this may save over 8 million jobs. So as for the HRDF in the first stimulus package, HRDF levies were exempted for hotels and travel-related companies only, because tourism and the service industry were the first to get hit by the COVID-19 outbreak. This was proposed to begin April to September this year. And then a few days ago, the Prime Minister announced that the exemption payment for the HRDF levy is now extended to all sectors from April 15. So for HRDF registered employers who are exempted, this levy exemption will support over 30,000 employers and expected to assist with a cash flow relief of millions. I think both the offers from EPF and HRDF are a small support for the SMEs. Definitely, we are looking forward to an EPF exemption, which will be a direct savings of 13%. Yeah. Okay.
Sounds like, yeah, and I think from what I heard from you, there will also be further announcement coming. As and when there's further announcement coming, we will also be updating all our SMEs. Okay, going to Lily Yong. What can you tell us about the company tax and all the tax installment deferment?
Right. Under the latest second stimulus package, the IRB has provided for additional third month installment revision. This in addition to the standard 6 and 9 month revision, which means you can take this chance to downward revise your tax estimation earlier in view of this projected bad performance this year. Also, all SMEs are able to defer their tax installment payments that falls between April to June, which means that payments previously due on this coming 15 April can now be deferred to an additional 3 months, which means the next payment will be 15 July 2020. However, please note, this is only for SME only. So SME is defined by 2 sectors: manufacturing sector, sales turnover not exceeding 50 million, or full-time employees not exceeding 200 workers. Services industry, sales turnover not exceeding 20 million, or full-time employees not exceeding 75 workers. For companies in tourism sector, based on the earlier stimulus package for travel agents, hotel and aviation industry, they are able to defer their tax installment for 6 months, from April to September, which means the next due payment would be 15 October 2020. This is a no-brainer. So definitely it will help ease the cash flow for all SMEs, which are badly affected during this period. So please use the deferment and revision of tax estimation to better manage your cash flows.
Okay, thank you about that. So yeah, so for all of you out there, take a look at what are some of the key benefits that you can defer. Use it to consolidate your cash flow. Julius, how can you help some of our business owners here during this tough time in terms of managing their overhead, break-even, and cash flows?
Okay, during this time, cash is king. So I'm going to share a slide to show how cash is king. On the vertical axis, you have cash, and that's cash in or cash out. Cash in meaning cash coming to your business or cash that you're spending. And on the horizontal axis, basically you see is a timeline. So what's going to happen is, to understand cash, you have to go back to cash flow. Now in a business, once you start, you immediately have fixed costs. Every business, no matter whether there's money coming in, you have money going out. That goes in terms of salaries, in terms of rent, depreciation, it's all fixed, regardless of the business. But in business, you have also variable costs, which also happens whenever business grows. So for example, commissions of salespeople grows. If you're running a factory, you have cost of materials, you have shipping costs, that's variable costs. And your total cost is the combination of fixed and variable costs. That's the cost that is going out of your business, money. Now you will get sales. Sales that are coming in is represented by the red or orange line. And when the sales meet your costs, that's called the break-even point. And that's the most important point about cash flow, because any money coming in after the break-even point is cash. Is cash coming in? It's profits. Now, what's happening is with the COVID-19, you see a horizontal line. What happened is the revenue gradient went flatline for a lot of industries. So for example, the airlines industry or the travel industry, suddenly they have no new sales. It's basically flattened. For a lot of other industries, it's not maybe flattened, but it's reduced significantly. A lot of people are now losing cash, which is the difference between the blue line, which is cash going out, paying salaries, and cash coming in. So companies are now losing cash, and cash is king. A lot of people are hoping that everything will go back to normal as soon as possible. But in reality, even after the MCO is lifted, the graph will not probably be the same. It may be a long road to recovery, and the time to recover is long. So the question is, do you have enough cash to last? So what's the advice I want to give to you is, number one is find ways to reduce costs, which is to reduce the blue line. You can go to Lily and those guys, they'll tell you how to reduce costs and improve your business. So one way you can actually reduce it is to reduce your costs, and the other way is to increase your revenues. You cannot increase your revenues the traditional way. You are all entrepreneurs, that's why you started businesses. So you actually have to find new and novel ways to actually build your revenues because the new sales coming in may take some time. Hope that helps.
Wow, that's a big insight. And to all our viewers, don't worry, we will have all this summarized in an FAQ, and you can also rewatch the Facebook Live. Going next, Lily, from a finance perspective, some of the loans or grants are made available. Could you give some of your view and advice on that?
Okay, so government is allocating a total of 13.1 billion in terms of facilities or loans to SMEs. Okay, but before I go into what are the options available, I would like to give you 3 warnings on taking up this loan. Number 1 is that you only borrow for critical cash flow requirement, knowing that you can pay back after 6 months and your business is sustainable within the next 1 to 2 years. Knowing means that you are planning now how to boost your business in the next 6 months, how to survive through this period, and you are confident that you can repay this loan. Number 2, you never borrow to finance your business losses, because this way the business will die faster. So what does it mean is that after the 6 months where you don't have to repay your loan, at the 7th month, you need to start repaying. If your business is not generating enough cash flow for you to do that, businesses will go bankrupt. Number 3, reality, 80% of the SMEs cannot get loan simply because they may not have the complete document, their accounts are not updated, or their credit rating is not strong enough. While we have these 13.1 billion funds allocated, but my take is that not many will be able to get the loans. So considering these 3 warnings, I will go into detail about what are the loans available. So out of this 13.1 billion, there is a special relief facility and 4 other facilities or 4 other loans. So this special relief facility, which is the cheapest, is allocated 5B. You can apply through commercial banks. You go to their website. Okay. Some of the information is that per SME, you can get up to 1 million. That means you can go to different banks, all total up 1 million. It's a very cheap loan at 3.5%. You can repay over 5 years. To be actual, is 5.5 years, because once you get the loan, the first 6 months you don't have to repay, but at the 7th month you need to repay for up to 5 years. And yeah, that's the special relief loan. The other 4 facilities are all sectors, all economic sectors loan, agro-food, which focuses on food producing industries. The other one is ADF, Automation and Digitalization Facility. Okay, this is the loans given to encourage businesses to automate and digitalize their processes. And the last one, the 5th one, is micro enterprise financing. So these are the total 5 types of loans available at 13.1 billion for SMEs to apply.
Okay. Okay, so having all these, would you be able to give a chart so that some of our viewers can know what and how they can, respond to some of it in terms of getting the subsidy,
Yes.
in terms of getting the interest? Would you be able to share some of that in a chart?
Okay, yes, I will be able to do that. In fact, I've gotten this information from the Bank Negara website. There is a 1-page summary of these facilities that is made available, these 5 types of facility. So we'll be able to share that after the live, FB Live.
Okay. How about some of a chart to show some of the various possible impact of COVID-19 on all our SME? Like as a business owner, what we always, like what Julia said, what we need to always look at is our bottom line. Are we able to sustain in terms of cash flow? Are we able to pull through in terms of profitability? Can you be able to share some of that insight?
Yes, okay, let's look at this slide. I'm going to share screen. So as an accountant, my advice to the SMEs or businesses is very consistent. Drive your business using numbers. Make the numbers your financial dashboard. I'm taking a simple scenario of a restaurant business. And what I'm doing is actually looking at the what if analysis. So what if this happened? What happens to your bottom line or your net profit? Let's look at this row. So in a restaurant business, business as usual, sales assuming 100, assuming direct food cost is 30, this is your gross profit. I also assume that the salary including EPF is 30, and then rental 15, other expenses 10, and normally in normal situation, the net profit of 15. So scenario 1, COVID-19 comes, MCO, sales drop by 500, sales drop by 50%. And you need to pay full salary. So immediately what happens is that you need to pay full salary and your full cost. Immediately what happens is that from a net profit of 15, it goes into a loss of 20. So there's a drastic drop of 133% in your bottom line in this scenario. So scenario number 2, same, sales drop 50%. Government comes in to give you a 600 ringgit subsidy, 600 ringgit wages subsidy. So here, with the 600 ringgit wages subsidy, so it actually reduces your salary and EPF by 6 ringgit. Yeah, this is my calculation. It's a 20% savings on your salary. It reduces by 6 ringgit. And then assuming all other costs remains the same, your net loss becomes smaller. So the damage not so big, but still bad. Yeah, so it's a negative 14. It's a drop of 93%. Let's go to scenario 3. Sales drop 50%. You take the 600 ringgit subsidy from the government and you go on to cut costs of 10%. Cut costs across board of 10%. That means wages cut 10%, rental cut 10%, expenses cut 10%. So this immediately actually reduces your loss to 9.1. So from 20, it goes down to 9.1. There's a 61% drop. And then if you look at scenario 4, what I'm doing is that I actually do a what if. What if you cut your overhead by 30%? Salary cut 30%, all rental and other expenses cut by 30%. Let's look at the bottom line. You are about to break even. So means water is up to here. You just survived, yeah? Break even means no gain, no loss. So that is quite a drastic action to cut everything across 30%. So this, I think this illustration actually shows that at this time, it is very important for each of the business owner to know what your damage is, where to cut costs, how much to cut costs in order to stay afloat. And when you do that, actually what happens to your bottom line and how much cash you have and how long more you can last in your business. So in this way, then only you can decide what do you need to do now to survive through in the next 1 year. So for business owners, because this is a very simple illustration, so every business is unique. So I suggest that you speak to your accountants to do a what-if analysis for your business.
Okay, looking at the chart, it can be quite scary. So yeah, if you are looking at the numbers and if it's telling you your sales is going to drop by 50% over the course of, let's say, 12 months, you need to optimize your overhead by at least 30% in order to keep afloat. So business owner, keep this in mind. Yeah, some of the viewers are already asking, how do we actually cut the 30% cost? So Josie, from an Asia perspective, regarding some of this employee and wages management or subsidy, what are some of the benefit or some of the constraint, or how can business actually look into this from a business perspective in terms of cost optimization during this hard time?
Yeah, so right now the government has offered this 600 subsidy, and it's for a period of 3 months where employers can claim 600 ringgit per employee. This initiative is through SOCSO and is called the Wage Subsidy Program. It is for employees whose salaries are below 4,000 a month who have been contributing to the employees insurance scheme. In short, it's known as EIS. But employers have to show proof that their revenue has declined more than 50% since January 1st this year. Employers are also not allowed to terminate employees or force employees to take unpaid leave or a pay cut. Sounds unfair, right? This is an uphill struggle for SMEs. Revenue dropped by more than 50% and yet still continue to pay salaries in full and cannot terminate. Moreover, the impact may be not may not be full blown in March. It could be later months. Also, at 600 for a 4K staff, the subsidy is only 15%, while sales drop more than 50%. So when and how to apply? Application has to be made through SOCSO's website beginning today. As of a few minutes ago, the link is still not accessible. There are also relevant supporting documents required for this wage subsidy application that employer has to provide.
I see. So how about in those scenarios where business income alone is already insufficient to pay wage? And you know, how do businesses or employees deal with this? What are your advice?
So when a business income is insufficient with all the deferments, your clients are not paying you, there's not enough cash left in the bank, business owners or directors have pumped in extra, and yet it comes to a point where there isn't enough to pay wages. So what can you do? Okay, speak to your employees. You need to communicate and let them know what the business is facing. Let them know that you want to retain them and want to work out something that works for both parties and not lopsided. What is silent in the MOHR FAQ is the part on consent from employees. It means you can negotiate unpaid leave or a pay cut or deferment of a percentage of your salary to be paid when business improves, when you get their agreement. Manage their expectations so that they can also prepare themselves. The key here is to have two-way communication with your employees, not just send a memo or WhatsApp and then deduct their salary. When there is a buy-in from employees, it is likely that they are agreeable to shoulder this together with the employers so that they can keep their jobs. Otherwise, businesses die faster.
Okay, I think the whole idea is, know what the government is providing, know where you are as a business owner. And if you know where you are and certain things, you know the subsidy is not helping you, the sales is not coming in, all business owners, please be proactive, take initiative, have an open discussion with your employees and work something out. Okay, Li Fong, from a company perspective, if the company is unable to pay debt or creditor as and when it fall dues, what are some of the possible options that SME can take to mitigate or to sustain through this period?
First of all, I think you must ensure that you have exhausted all means of the relief schemes made available by the government during this period. There are also other alternatives like invoice financing, debtor financing to free up cash. So please speak to your accountants or bankers to understand all the alternatives possible. Please focus on reserving cash and get rid of your non-core assets as soon as possible. So please make sure to make it a win-win situation as much as possible. However, if it's very severe, please also assess your financial status and consider whether a temporary moratorium will help. There are several rescue mechanisms under the Companies Act, which can provide temporary shelter and buys you time to refinance and reschedule your credit facilities. The first one we have is the most simple one, which is corporate voluntary arrangement, or we call it CVA, where the directors and shareholders will prepare a proposal for its creditors to accept a reduced payment amicably. So this method will not involve the court, and it gives you a moratorium of 28 days and extendable to 60 days. Next, you have the judicial management, where you have to appoint an independent insolvency practitioner, and he will undergo a restructuring effort for the company. This can be initiated by the director, shareholder, or even a creditor, and this will be granted a 6 months moratorium. Lastly, you have also a scheme of arrangement, where director and shareholder and judicial manager can also apply to the court. This will grant a 3 months moratorium and is beneficial if on the event that you can obtain a court restraining order, so you can restrict recovery actions from dissenting creditors. However, if all fails, then a liquidation can take place where a liquidator will be appointed to realize all remaining assets, repay debts where possible, and eventually dissolve the company.
It's always hard, but yeah, as a business owner, this is something that we don't like, and it can be very real to some of us. So be proactive. And on a more positive note, Julius, as a business consultant and training, what are some of the recommendations and options you think SME can do to ride through or sustain through this COVID-19 period?
Okay, I have 6 recommendations. Firstly, please don't think it will disappear very quickly. A lot of consultants and government worldwide are expecting this to stretch on a little bit. So anyway, let me give you 6 keys very quickly. The first key is on yourself, your self-leadership. Number 1, please don't panic, take care of yourself and keep calm. Not only take care of yourself physically, but take care of yourself in terms of your mindset, psychologically, mentally, and things like that. Cut out negative news if possible. It doesn't help to know that certain countries are going under, that certain countries are going into recession. It doesn't affect you until it affects you. But the negative news may actually affect your mindset mentally. The finance minister of Germany committed suicide a few days ago. Too much is happening to them. You need to preserve yourself as a leader. Dale Carnegie offers some good advice. He says, when overwhelming odds come in, accept the worst, that the worst has already happened. And then accept it and now move forward from there. So the first thing is looking after yourself, don't panic. The second thing is tap into resources provided by governments and financial resources. A lot of advice has been given. Please turn to them, Lily and your accountant and everyone. Based on this, make a decision and then take action quickly, because this will buffer. This is the most immediate cash that could come in if you are applicable to that. So the second thing is take advantage of the government and financial institutions. Third thing is make a 3-month financial plan. Why 3 months? Is because we can't look beyond 3 months at this point in time. We have to go 3 months by 3 months. So seek professional advice on how you can restructure your finances, like what Lily has suggested. Seek internal advice, not only external, but internal to your company. Ask your team, ask your vendors, ask the banks, ask your business partners. Cut costs wherever possible, make a plan, prioritize, and also not only watch your business finances, but also your personal finances. Number 4, look out for opportunities. Seriously, there's a limit to how much costs you can cut. So you are entrepreneurs, you have to look for new opportunities. From this, there will be new customer needs. There will be new customer behaviors. How can you tap on it? There are technologies that are now being used. How can you digitize your business? Be prepared to create a new business model. In case you need opportunities, you can use the CORE approach, C-O-R-E. First is cross-pollinate. That means co-dream with other visionaries, co-innovate with clients, find new opportunities together with them. O, observe. Observe enthusiasts. There are people that are very positive out there. Look at them, learn from them. Look also for disruptions in the market. Take advantage of that. R stands for reflect. Reflect. Look at the trends that are happening. Analyze it. See whether you can actually relate to anything that you were not previously doing. Watch out for that. E stands for experiment. From all this, look for opportunities and create prototypes. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be expensive. Start small and beta test your new solutions. So you are entrepreneurs, you have to find new means of possible cash. From that, make a 3-month business plan. How you do that is, say for example, the plan is from 1st April to 30th of June. Start off with some objectives. You don't have to have 3 objectives. Try not to have more than 3. Maximum is 3. But let's say we have 3 objectives, and one of the objectives is to create new streams of income. From this objective, break it out into key results. Yes, that's an objective, but what do I specifically want to achieve to that objective? So for example, a key result to get new streams is to get 5 new projects, to look for 5 new clients, to co-create 5 new projects, to enroll in new courses, to look for services. And then with all these ideas, map it out into a 90-day plan. Put specific targets, deadlines, month by month, and try to do this. And lastly, upskill your staff. What I mean by upskill for staff is your people are now at home. Some of them are not doing anything really maximizing their time. Look for additional skills that may be useful to your team now during this time. Look for additional skills that may be useful for future, your new businesses. Enroll in online courses that are associated with all these skills. You can even restructure a department. Maybe one department can help another, which it never did before. Sales can help marketing. Maybe accounts can help marketing. So utilize these 6 plans and you'll be more ready to buffer what's going to happen. Over to you, Alex.
Okay. Look like there's a lot of strategy, like some of the viewers on the floor just now asked, you know, what are some of the strategies to cut costs by 30%? And I think just from Julius alone, you'll probably have already 10 to 15 strategy that you can use. And I know during this time, some of you SME owner will have confusion or you may need some guidance. Julius here do provide e-coaching as well as e-training. Do contact him. From the floor, I think we have answered most of the questions throughout the whole Zoom live feed that we have. Let's wrap it up. Now, let me ask each of you in terms of what are some of the offering your firm or yourself can offer to support SME to move through this tough period. Lily Yong, what can you offer from your side?
I think we also need help technically in these difficult times, but let us help each other during this very challenging time. We work hand in hand with InTune, where we can provide cash flow forecasts for your loan or grant applications. And also through our network of clients, if there are sharing of resources that you would like to intend to work out with other industry players, please feel free to contact us. We provide a full suite of compliance services and financial advisory services as well.
Okay, Julius, how about you from your side?
Well, at this time, I can help with e-coaching and e-training solutions. But if you're even not sure whether e-training and e-coaching is for you, just reach out to me. I don't mind just giving you advice, bouncing together with you, giving you perhaps some tips along the way.
Okay. Lily, how about from InTune side? What else can we do for our client, or new SME that's gonna come on board with us?
Okay, so for our existing finance and payroll clients, we will take over and do all the applications and submissions for wages subsidy, because we handle your payroll, all the way up to the money is being disbursed to you. And if you're looking to get financing for your loans, and being a finance department, we have all your documents, etc. We will take lead and actually do this on your behalf to source for financing and loans. And the third one is that we will go through with each of you, your individual business, some what-ifs analysis, and actually working with you through this time. Yeah, the what-if analysis, a sample that I've shown just now. So we will be meeting you one-on-one to actually help you with this. For viewers who are not already our clients, we can offer this service for you at a very, very much reduced rate so that we can see all the SMEs through this difficult period.
Okay. Okay, so let me just sum it up. Yeah. So for some of our viewers, if you miss some of the content or some of the information that's shared by our panel, the live feed is recorded and you can always go back to that section. And if you can't get the full information, please either come to us or be in touch with our panel directly. I will post their Facebook or their contact number for you to be in touch with them. So in summary, during MCO and post MCO, many SMEs should really take this time to reflect and look into the following. How are your sales within the 6 months? And what will happen after the next 6 months? We have all these loan moratorium and all these subsidy. What the reality will kick in after the 6 months? What are some of the cost optimization that you can do, especially on employment, on rental? Like given the loan moratorium, you can also talk to some of your landlord in terms of getting some rental rebate, tax deferment, and engage with your employees during this hard time to come up with a mutual win-win agreement. Beyond what is provided by the law, negotiate with your landlord and negotiate with your suppliers. Look after yourself and your business from the point of cash flow within the current 6 months and look further within the next 6 months. And work with your supplier and creditor where necessary and keep in mind all the time your break-even point, like what Julia said. Know where you are in terms of cash flow, know where you are in terms of profit and loss. During this tough time, all SME owners will need to evolve, innovate, and create. So here I wish all SME to be strong and to be vigilant to sustain through this COVID-19 period, and InTune as well as our panelists are all here to support you. We stand for SME to become large, and we will continue to update you from time to time. Please subscribe to our page if any news come by, and we may have a part 2 from here on. Okay, that will be all from us. Thank you very much. May SME become large. Bye.
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 Thank you.
Bye.